I will say it as a fan and nothing else. Seeing Chris Olave standing on the sidelines during team drills while waiting for his contract extension is an anxiety-inducing way to kick off training camp for the New Orleans Saints. This hold-in isn't about an injury, but a business decision that creates immediate uncertainty for our offense. Two things stand out here, focusing on what we know for sure and how it changes our outlook. The more details that surface, the bigger this situation looks for our season. Smash that like button, subscribe, and comment your name and city below. Alright, let's go. The long-awaited contract extension for star wide receiver Chris Olave remains absent as training camp begins, leaving us to navigate an uncertain situation. Since joining the team as a first-round pick, Olave has become the focal point of our passing attack, making his current status a major concern for supporters who view him as the cornerstone of our offensive future. When the Saints took the field for the first time Wednesday morning, Olave participated in initial drills but stood off to the side during team segments, helmet in hand. Head coach Kellen Moore confirmed that this is a calculated hold-in, with both sides respecting the business side of the league while working through negotiations. Olave is already under contract for $15.4 million due to the team picking up his fifth-year option, yet the absence of a long-term commitment creates genuine tension. And this is the part that gets me. While the organization insists the process is amicable, we have seen these hold-ins drag on long enough to disrupt team chemistry. The fan base is feeling anxious because we need our primary playmaker fully integrated into Kellen Moore's system rather than watching from the sidelines. It is a delicate balance of protecting the player from injury versus ensuring he is ready for the rigors of a full season. We are left wondering if this situation will resolve quietly in the coming days, or if the Saints are facing a much deeper disconnect behind the scenes regarding his valuation and future role. If this does not reach a conclusion soon, how will his absence from critical team reps influence the development of our younger receivers as we prepare for opening day? The most unsettling development from Wednesday's practice was the sudden, devastating report that Bryan Bresee has sustained a season-ending ACL tear. This news is a jarring blow for a young player entering a pivotal stretch of his career, where he was expected to anchor our defensive interior, especially considering the front office recently signaled their long-term commitment by picking up his fifth-year option for 2027. We saw very little warning of this injury, as he was not observed leaving the field in distress or favoring a limb, which only adds to the mystery and disappointment surrounding his absence. The truth is, this team must now rely on internal depth to fill a massive void, placing significant pressure on Vernon Broughton and second-round selection Kristen Miller to accelerate their development much faster than initially anticipated. Historically, the Saints have managed roster turnover through calculated depth, yet losing a defensive force of his caliber during training camp forces a difficult strategic pivot. Behind closed doors, Kellen Moore and the staff are likely recalibrating their entire rotation to ensure we have enough size and pressure in the trenches. It is a harsh reality of professional football that one snap can completely redirect a season. With Bresee facing a grueling recovery, we are looking at a rotation that leans heavily on youth. As fans, we have seen this franchise overcome personnel setbacks by finding diamonds in the rough, but filling this particular vacancy remains our most urgent challenge. We will be watching closely to see if our defensive line can maintain its intensity despite this brutal and truly unexpected loss of a key playmaker. Transitioning from the breaking news to the broader landscape, what nobody is talking about is how these moving parts fundamentally alter our competitive window for this season. The immediate stakes involve balancing long-term financial security with the urgent need for chemistry on the field. With Chris Olave holding out, we lose critical rhythm in the passing game, forcing Kellen Moore to rely heavily on tight end sets and shorter routes to compensate for the lack of established vertical threats. This shift complicates our early schedule, particularly against disciplined division defenses that prioritize coverage consistency. If our core starters cannot find their timing during these foundational camp weeks, we risk starting slow and digging an early hole in the standings. Losing Bryan Bresee to an ACL injury creates a glaring vacuum in our defensive interior rotation, placing immense pressure on young assets like Vernon Broughton and Kristen Miller to perform well beyond their experience levels. This isn't just about shuffling names on a depth chart. It is about whether our defensive front can generate enough pressure to protect a secondary that needs to hold firm for us to secure a wildcard spot. The margin for error is razor thin, and any drop in production from Alvin Kamara or lack of development from our younger receivers will ripple across every game on our calendar. If we hope to contend for the division title, we need the front office and the players to resolve these contract hold-ins quickly. Without a fully engaged and healthy roster, our path toward a playoff appearance becomes significantly more difficult to navigate against such an unforgiving league schedule. The Chris Olave contract situation creates a complex dynamic for our organization that warrants a very careful look. On the positive side, this hold-in serves as a smart financial safeguard for a star receiver protecting his future earnings while ensuring he remains physically ready for the season. By avoiding contact during full-team drills, he effectively mitigates the risk of a career-altering injury while simultaneously keeping the front office under pressure to finalize a long-term agreement. And here's why that's a big deal. The Saints have already picked up his $15.4 million fifth-year option, providing a solid floor for his compensation, but both sides clearly desire more stability. The downside, however, is that every day spent on the sidelines represents a missed opportunity for building essential chemistry with our quarterbacks during these critical early practices. Media analysts across the league have noted that while both Mickey Loomis and Olave have expressed optimism, the absence of a deal could eventually lead to an uncomfortable standoff. Some pundits suggest the team might look at other high-performing receivers like those currently developing within the Chicago Bears or Detroit Lions systems as benchmarks for this negotiation. My honest take here is that this narrative regarding a potential rift is being somewhat overblown by the national press. While I acknowledge the risks of missed practice time, both the coaching staff and the players seem remarkably calm about the business side of the sport. It feels like a standard professional negotiation rather than a sign of internal discord. So I trust that a reasonable compromise will be reached before any real friction develops. When you synthesize the contract hold-in, the injury setbacks, and the roster adjustments, the picture that emerges is a franchise navigating a critical period of transition aimed at securing long-term stability. The Saints are clearly prioritizing financial prudence and deep internal competition to build a resilient core for the next 3 seasons, meaning we should approach this year with a cautious, steady optimism. While the loss of Bryan Bresee is a difficult blow to our defensive line, seeing players like Kendre Miller and Jordan Tyson back on the field provides the depth and fresh talent required for Kellen Moore to successfully implement his new offensive vision. And honestly, this is precisely the type of grit our team needs to display throughout a long, grueling schedule to prove that the front office has correctly identified our future building blocks. We must remain patient while the organization manages these moving parts, because winning in the NFL is rarely about a perfect start, and almost always about how effectively a roster evolves after the initial hurdles. It is a relief to see the coaching staff already testing different personnel configurations, as this proactive approach is essential for identifying which young contributors will rise to the challenge when it matters most. With these roster shifts in mind, do you believe the Saints can maintain a top-tier defensive front despite the unfortunate absence of Bryan Bresee for the upcoming season? If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Who dat? I'll see you in the next one.